Look at this. So through goes Walker and Hodgson. Now watch this, the third place man. Oh dear me, that was superb from James Hayden. Oh, John Crockford. Crockford is out. John Crockford is not having luck in this. He leads the Privateer Challenge at the moment, and he really is out of luck big time. He has not had a happy last half of this season. Let's take another look at it. We're on board with him. It's at the hairpin. He's already lost it as we go in, so down he goes. Not a lot of run off there either. So then, back with your third place battle. John Reynolds has taken over from James Hayden. Steve Plater's right in there, trying to get his first podium in Superbikes. Remember, he came up from the Super Sports class last year. Steve Plater has steadily ridden better and better, and the Kawasaki team have steadily given him a better and better bike. And meanwhile, all systems normal at the front.
Absolutely.
Here. Walker leads. Oh, Hodgson out the seat.
Talking of saves.
And so are we out of the seat in here. Wow, that's given Chris Walker a second or two off for a moment anyway.
Dave Jeffries in 6th or 7th at the moment.
Yes,
well,
but does anybody really care when this is going on? We're at the bus stop. I hate this bit of the track. They've had to put this in, though, years ago to slow down the exit of Devil's Elbow. And you saw Hodgson there with it lit up at the rear end. Meanwhile...
So Walker's pushing the front everywhere. The Ducatis are lighting up the back end.
Well, I think it's because they're all on ridiculous lap record pace. Here's John Reynolds. John Reynolds sitting on the third place at the moment with James Hayden. The revitalised James Hayden hadn't got his breath back.
And his pulse rate.
And his pulse rate. And Steve Plater on the Kawasaki.
Looking more and more at home as the season goes on the Superbike. Plater.
He's a great rider and a very nice man.
Tough guy.
Mind you, you're having hard to pick out these guys nowadays, aren't you?
Yeah, tough guy as Steve Plater as well.
They all look like they eat their young when they're on the racetrack, but they're quite normal, really. Walker, Hodgson, Reynolds, Hayden, Plater and Jeffries, that's the top 6. And you're right, David Jeffries in 6th place. That is a superb ride from him. Remember, he only got on that bike at Cadwell Park.
And he only got off the Superstock bike a short while ago.
Yeah.
Traded front tyre versus slick front tyre.
Well, it's a good job he didn't celebrate too much after the Superstock, because he was on the podium as well, so he had to run from the podium to get to his Superbike to get out in this race. Looking back from Chris Walker again. There is Hodgson. In close. Oh, and Walker lights at the rear, and there is Hodgson. Oh, he nearly did.
He had to go.
I'll tell you what, orange and blue don't really match.
They don't go together well, do they?
National Tyre Suzuki and INS Ducati doing battle swapping paint at the moment.
Watch the Duke.
Oh yeah, good drive there, but I think that was more from the fact that
Walker lost momentum.
I think Chris Walker momentum in his brain. I think after
Let's
that.
watch the Duke really power out of Gerard.
Look at the clouds. Does that suit this shot?
Oh, perfectly, mate.
Yeah.
Edge of darkness stuff, isn't it?
On the edge of the precipice are these two.
Ripped by Joseph
Oh,
Conrad.
you saw how good Walker was on the brakes there. Just a couple of yards better than Neil Hodgson. Into the S's, through the right-hander, flopping it up a gear. And now the left-hander up the hill towards the braking area. Look how he protects that inside line, Chris Walker. Stays tight, tips it in first gear. Neil Hodgson,
is there a way past if somebody rides a proper defensive line?
Yeah, you ram them. Then you go down to the bus stop chicane where you can do the same tactic if you fancy it. Mallory Park really suits Chris Walker's style. In fact, it suits Neil Hodgson's style as well, because he's not averse to a bit of paint swap. They did ball and chain. I think that's what ought to be in the regulations for next year between these two. That's assuming we see these two in British Championship next year.
All sorts of rumours I've got there.
Yeah, Castrol Honda, possibly for that man, Neil Hodgson. I'm told that's almost a done deal.
That noise was getting louder and louder as the weekend went on, Keith.
So, Chris Walker, well, he still doesn't know where he's going next year. Where he wants to go this year, though, is to be British Superbike champion. At the moment, the man behind him leads him by 1 point. He won't if he finishes this race in this order.
Because the difference between first and second is 5 points, 20 versus 25.
So that'll give then, even by my mathematics, 4 points.
Yes, 4-point lead, mate. Well done.
Through the bus stop. Huge crowd here, and they're really close proximity to the track as well. That's why you can hear all the hooters. Our cameras are right close to trackside too. Oh, going close to trackside out of Devil's Elbow. Watch Chris Walker. There's the third place man, number 3, John Reynolds. Now then, John Reynolds, what can he do? John Reynolds, he is in third place in the series, just 27 points behind Chris Walker. 25 for a win, you've already said that, Julian. Hodgson and Reynolds, 2.6 seconds going back from second place to third place man John Reynolds. John Reynolds, though, with the rear end of that bike all lit up. Maybe he's used up his tyre. Still Hayden there in 4th place. 5th place is, well, the fifth
Walker.
qualifier. Yeah, it's
just normal, isn't it?
Normal, really.
It's just there.
Steve Plater was the man I was about to say in 5th place, but of course I got overcome by the two in front here at the S's.
And it's situation normal for the British Championship this year. Walker versus Hodgson at the front. Yeah. Suzuki versus Ducati. This has been a great championship.
It has been a great championship, but do you know what's been the greatest thing about it? Doesn't matter how much these two bash into each other, they've tidied their act up just enough to not knock each other off anymore.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Oh, but it might change here at Mallory, because look at this bloke. Well, let's hope he hasn't got Gobert's helmet on.
Let's see.
As we come out of Gerard's corner now, looking for the power. Watch that Ducati. It really grunts out of here. And he's got it at 16. He's right there with Chris Walker. Oh, Walker's better on the brakes again into the S's. Every time Walker is better on the brakes.
Is Hodgson rehearsing?
I reckon.
Could be, couldn't it?
I'm not going to commit myself.
I noticed that into the hairpin. Great shot from Walker's rear-facing camera.
Now then, different line every time up into the hairpin, but it's not going to do anybody any good unless you ride up the white line on the inside of that hairpin on the last lap. Somebody can still get under you if they're close enough and got big enough parts of their anatomy to make that move.
Susan, do you need the leader to make a mistake to get past those last two corners?
No, not at all. You just need to
you can barge through.
You just need to be close enough and don't care about your rival. And believe me, these two
don't care.
Indeed. Through Gerard's then. Again, 14. We're only half distance here. Number one out already. Watching these two.
Can need the heart monitors in the commentary box. Reynolds.
Second laps they're doing. John Reynolds still in third place. Talking to me about how he's kept his tyre together, John Reynolds, because he's had to work quite hard in the early part of this race, and we saw what state Hayden was in already. So 2.2, it's come down. Yeah, it's coming down. So, and when you consider how much they're battling at the front, John Reynolds has got a clear track in front of him.
Yes, indeed.
Mind you, Chris Walker's not bad when he leaves the race. He goes pretty fast all the way around. So that's really a question of whether Chris Walker can keep the pace up. Remember Hodgson, I think Hodgson's bike doesn't use its tyres quite as much as a National Tyre Suzuki. Got a situation where I think Walker has just run out of tyres, just run out of traction a little bit at the back in the last couple of rounds quicker than Hodgson, and Hodgson is all over him like a raincoat.
Is that because of the style of the rider or the type of the bike?
Could be a bit of both, really. You've got an aggressive rider on a motorcycle that delivers that power in a real peaky manner. So maybe...
As against the grunt of the V-twin and the slightly smoother style of Hodgson.
Look at John Reynolds. He's almost gone agricultural there. He was out in the green stuff looking for a decent line. No grip out there, John. Now then, different lines. That's more the fact that Hodgson is just taking it nice and easy at the hairpin and leaving himself plenty of room rather than anything other than different lines. I think that Chris Walker in front, you'll see if Hodgson manages to get by, he will take a similar line to Walker up into that hairpin, because he'll want to be able to tempt Walker to try and go around the outside of him. And that's what
the safe way.
The safe way,
as far as you're concerned.
You can always pick it up and ram it out through the... There are some gates there you can exit through if you...
The marshals have been known to open them, haven't they, when they see that coming?
Indeed.
Walker still leads from Hodgson.
We're on lap 16 of 28, Julian. We've still got a long way in this race to go.
It's been intense fight, and Reynolds is closing.
1.8. There is John Reynolds in third place. It's a great ride from Nottingham. John Reynolds on the Rev A Red Bull Ducati. Ben Atkins is going to be having a heart attack.
Again.
He'll have to go to a beach to lie down again, Ben. He's looking very brown, you know. It's very worrying.
Far too healthy.
Yes, indeed.
Again, the same lines as you said, Keith. The inside defensive line from Walker, the wide sweeping, more gentle line from Hodgson.
Yeah, watch them swap places if it goes the other way around, though, because I think you'll... Oh, I tell you what, we've got back markers coming up now. The pit boards hang over. Such a short place here. Do you know this front straight is actually faster than the back straight?
You're joking?
Just a few miles an hour in it. Remarkably, off the Suzuki telemetry, I noticed that Walker's bike is something like 6 or 7 miles an hour faster down the front straight than it is down this back straight, the Steppy straight.
I'm amazed. Now then, will the back markers play a part here?
Well, we're going to find out.
One of them's got out of the way.
Yeah, one of them's out of the way.
Wise move.
It's called fear, Julian, not wise.
Sensible, self-preservation, sense of imagination.
Yes, you'll get it all out in a moment, won't you? So then, blue flags being waved frantically. Remember what a part they played at Cadwell Park. Remember, poor old Neil Mackenzie got called out on that one. 66 comes into view. That's Paul Free, and he's going to get a free lesson in a minute. He's riding the Maiko Motorsport Kawasaki.
They get him where they want him.
Yeah, he's actually very nice. Well, he's got like a Gary Lingham style helmet on there as well.
Oh, the old big star, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So then, into Gerard's.
Nothing, no effect really from the back markers. They're as close as they've been for the past 18 laps.
I think they've probably been issued a storm warning before they went out on the track. If you're likely to be a back marker, beware.
Something blue with number 2 on.
Walker, Hodgson, Reynolds, Hayden, Plater, Jeffries. That's your top 6. It's been like that all through this race. Although the big thing we've got to watch out for is that difference between Reynolds and Hodgson.
It's constant last time round, Keith, at 2.2.
In fact, I think he's just dropped a bit of anything, Reynolds.
Oh, 1.8 to 2.2. Yes, that's right. 2 laps ago, Keith.
Makes a change for me to actually sort you out on timing.
Right then.
Oh, I tell you what, Hodgson was hot in the middle of that one.
Definitely carried some speed where you don't want it.
Putting a lot of weight on the front end. So then, onto the Kirkby straight we come, past the pit boards now. Paul Denning, the Suzuki team manager. Well, even he looks a bit flustered. And he's fairly confident usually.
He is indeed. No lack of confidence in either of these teams. Live detected.
Darryl Healy here, the team owner of the INS Ducati squad. Not the owner of INS, I had, and the owner of GSE.
That's
who
cable and wireless nowadays.
Yes, absolutely. Got any shares?